Hey, what is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the gamer heaven. Without a doubt, one of the questions I get the most often when I'm helping someone get set up with YouTube or Twitch streaming, Facebook gaming, YouTube gaming, whatever, is do I need a mixer in order to handle my audio devices? Now, there's a lot of words that get used interchangeably there, like audio interface and then mixer, USB mic, XLR mic. It all gets kind of confusing, especially for someone that's new to audio design, audio engineering. I have about 9 years of experience making instrumentals, singing, rapping, writing, songwriting, spending a lot of time in studios. So I've been around Mixer a lot, and I'm not talking about the failed streaming platform. I'm talking about those big boxes that have 1,000 knobs on them, inputs, outputs, phantom power. Get your head spinning if you don't know what you're looking at. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first of all, just to answer the question up front, no, you do not need a mixer. We're going to go over right now the pros and cons of a mixer, why you might want a mixer. So generally using a microphone like what I'm using right now with USB is much more simpler. It's consumer grade, it's plug and play, doesn't require any drivers. You literally plug it into your PC and it just works for you. You get pretty good audio quality, especially if you've set yours up like mine with, this doesn't have any post-processing effects on it or anything like that. This is just with the onboard software from Blue, and it sounds pretty damn good. That's why I'm not using an XLR mic right now. If this wasn't up to my standards for Twitch streaming, then I would go ahead and get an XLR. It's not an issue of money. It's not an issue of me not understanding audio design or how to set up a mixer or anything like that, because like I said, I have about 10 years experience with audio production. But you don't need it, because here's the thing. For Twitch, you have your game sound from your video game, you have your Discord chat, you have your music, you have your voice, you have any sound effects you're playing from your soundboard. Then all that gets condensed down into one channel, into one bit rate, usually about 3,500 to 6,000 for Twitch. So all that audio is getting put into one funnel, and then it gets downgraded or compressed multiple times. Once in your OBS software, then over the interwebs to their platform, so Twitch, not Mixer anymore, YouTube, Facebook gaming, and then by the time that it gets to your listener, like 90% of Twitch viewers watch on a mobile phone, tablet, or out of some shitty speakers that are built into their laptop or their TV. So literally a $2,000 XLR mic with a $6,000 mixer is going to sound virtually identical to a well set up $100 USB microphone. That's why I always recommend to streamers when I'm helping them get set up is that a mixer should be virtually in-game for you. That should be the last thing you get for your stream. Once you're already getting subs, donations, you probably have a site up, you're selling merch, you're maybe even directing towards a business you run or something like that. You're bringing in a bunch of income due to your streaming. Then you can go ahead and decide to pull the trigger on getting a mixer. But honestly, yes, XLR mics do sound better. For Twitch streaming, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up your guys' assholes or anything. You hear what my voice sounds like right now. It's not bad. And, just imagine, this is just getting... what you're listening to right now is just through Streamlabs OBS and then uploaded with the default audio settings in Windows. And, it sounds pretty good. Now just imagine it mattering even less through Twitch because it's being streamed. So first of all, what is XLR? It stands for external line return, and it's commonly used in audio production. That's what plugs generally into like an electric guitar, which plugs into an amp, or for a professional grade microphone that you would find in a studio, or even for some live performances and whatnot. So XLR is a better medium of data transfer for audio sound waves. And here's why XLR mics sound better than USB microphones. A USB microphone is handling three processes within the body of the microphone itself, and then also with whatever software is in your PC, which is in the in your motherboard. You have what's called a sound card or a sound driver in there, and usually they're really shitty, because think about it, if you have a $120 motherboard or like a $50 motherboard or something like that, your sound card or your sound card gets pretty neglected. It's probably about 10% of the motherboard cost, if that. There are Dolby Atmos cards and shit like that, but the difference is very marginal. Computers are not really meant to handle high quality audio. It's not a DAW, digital audio workstation, or anything like that. So it's just, the sound card on a motherboard is literally just to put out sound that's hearable by the human ear and not completely disgusting. So anyway, when you get a USB microphone, it handles the process of being a microphone. So whenever you talk or you play an instrument into a microphone, there's a diaphragm and magnet in there. It works a little bit different for dynamic mics versus a condenser mic like what I have right here. But you know, I'll make a separate video on dynamics versus condensers versus ribbon mics, which are the 3 types of microphones in existence. So anyway, we'll just go with condensers because that's most likely what you're going to be using for streaming. You should be. That's your best fucking option. There are a couple good dynamics like the Rode Meister, Tomahawk, Podboy, or whatever it's called. It's a pretty good mic. A lot of podcasters use that. Anyway, getting off topic here, this audio engineering really gets me tickled down there. So anyway, the USB microphone is handling the process of actually listening to your voice in this case, or spoken word, or instruments, or whatever. And you know, when these audio waves or frequencies are recepted by the mic's capsule or node or receiver, it's completely untangible. It's unusable to the human ear or to software or anything because it's considered mic level. Mic level is a very, very low volume and frequency. Then it needs to get ran through a preamp, which a USB mic has one built in or within the software of your PC. And then it also needs a digital to analog converter. So the microphone on a USB, between the body of the microphone and whatever software you have in your PC, it's doing 3 very important tasks. It's listening to the audio waves, then it is preamping that so it goes from an unusable mic level to a line level, which can be intercepted and used and received by your PC. And then it's being A to D converted, or analog to digital conversion. So it turns into ones and zeros, you know, binary signal, which can be used by your PC. So you can actually put it into a program like OBS, or if you're making music, something like Pro Tools or Propellerhead by Reason. Good programs, by the way. An XLR mic is only handling the first part of that. It's just listening to your audio waves. Then you plug into a mixer or an audio interface, which is a USB device that plugs into your PC, and that has its own digital audio processors built on board, so you don't have to, you bypass the sound card in your PC, and you get your preamp that's inside of your mixer. Then it does digital to analog conversion. Then it runs through the USB cable into your computer. So since an XLR mic's only handling one thing, a $100 XLR mic's going to sound better than a $100 USB mic, because there's, you know, say in this mic here, a $30 microphone receiver, a $30 preamp, a $30 digital to analog, flip that, analog to digital converter, and then about, we'll say, $20 to $30 for the materials for like the case and the body of the microphone to keep it all encased and protected. So generally that's why XLR mics will sound better. You know, that is complete in-game, because like I said, the difference between an XLR mic and a USB for streaming is absolutely marginal difference. It's very, very not noticeable. If I were to put on some adjustments, some equalizer settings, some reverb, some compression on my voice right now, this thing would sound very good. Would I say it's studio quality? I could, and most of you would be like, yeah, totally does. You know, but I have actually spent time in studios, and, you know, a lot of you guys might call my bullshit. If you have been in studios before, you'd be like, no, it's pretty hard to get a USB mic studio quality. Some studios actually use USB, but it's very rare. Generally, they'll all be using XLR on huge soundboards, mixers with about 100, maybe 1,000 knobs on there. Pretty intense shit. So some terms that get thrown around interchangeably a lot are mixers and audio interfaces. Now, a mixer has an audio interface, but an audio interface isn't always a mixer. These are both USB devices that plug into your PC, but generally an audio interface will only take 1 or 2 microphone inputs. You have very little adjustment for things like equalizer, reverb, noise gate, compression, any kind of onboard vocal effects or anything like that. It's literally just taking your XLR microphone, giving it phantom power, which is something else we need to cover. Phantom power is basically a certain voltage that condenser mics need to run. Do not hook phantom power to a dynamic mic. It'll blow out your sound signal and make it sound like shit or fuck your mic up. But if you have a condenser mic, it does need phantom power to run. USB, not so much. All that powering is handled by the USB interface. Again, that's why I recommend them for streamers. You know, most streamers don't know shit about audio design. That's fine. You just want a good quality stream. And, you know, you can make yourself sound like myself or even better with very simple twists of the niblets of the old, was that Salt Bay? Of the old adjustment dials there. And make yourself sound sweet. So sweet. So an audio interface, they're generally usually smaller too. There are some big old ones. They're generally smaller and cheaper. A mixer has a USB audio interface within it, but it also has usually a bunch of knobs on it as well. And what that is for is a hardware equalizer. So yeah, there's software equalizers for like my mic here, but a hardware equalizer is generally a lot more accurate and realistic because it's being handled before it even gets to your PC, your digital audio workstation or whatever. It's being handled through processing. So as it goes from your XLR mic to your mixer, it runs through all those little knobs and, adjusts your vocals or your instrument or whatever to sound just right. You can also put on compression, which basically if you're a very loud person that rages a lot, like Dr. Disrespect, or you are a soft-spoken person, it'll basically keep your voice in a more steady vocal range. You can also set up what's called noise gate. So, right now I have my air conditioning running. I've got 4 fans built into my PC here. My neighbor was mowing the lawn a couple minutes ago. Those are all background noises. Now, I'm going to make a separate video on how to make a USB microphone sound as good as a studio quality XLR. And I'm going to go over all this stuff. It's really not that hard to set up with software, and also a couple easy tips, like for example, keeping the microphone close to your mouth, where to mount your boom arm, what software to use and in what programs and in what order should you have those filters on. That is going to be a very valuable video. Subscribe so you do not miss that. But yeah, so what noise gate does is takes any background noise and basically cuts it out to where you have to hit a certain volume threshold for your mic to actually start listening to you. However, you can really F it up. If you set a noise gate incorrectly, your voice will sound choppy because it's cutting into the vocal range. So that like this on stream, and that's no good. People are going to think you're fucking stroking out and having a seizure, when really you just don't know shit about audio design. So I would say don't get an audio interface, get a mixer. Trust me, they have everything an audio interface has, plus a bunch of niblets and knobs, which really aren't that complicated to learn the ins and outs of. Yeah, there's a bit of a learning curve. I'll make about a 10-minute video on it, and you guys will be masters of mixers. You'll be editing, chopping, screwing. You'll be the next DJ Khaled, but probably less overweight.
That was fucked up, Kevin. Take it back.
You'll be on your Twitch.
We're the best streamers. Let's get it.
So anyway, oh, is that a pimple or herpes? Oh, gee, it's a pimple. I'm just kidding. Gotta be sexually active for herpes. Just kidding. So yeah, mixer, it's like an audio interface, has a bunch of knobs where you can adjust your equalizer, noise gate, effects like that. Granted, a lot of audio interfaces come with a software suite, but again, hardware generally does a better job than software at handling things like equalizer and effects and stuff like that.
Someone is at the doorbell.
Somebody's at the doorbell. Hold the horses and hold my phone. Another thing that you can do with a mixer or an audio interface is add what's called a preamp. I mean, when you're getting into this stuff, it's just a little bit much for streaming because the audio difference that you're putting into the money and the time to set up and then the knowledge of setting up all your dials and everything, it's not worth it. The investment to reward is not really worth it because nobody's going to notice the difference. If you don't mention it to your chat or anything like that, they're going to be like, oh, I didn't even know you did anything with your audio. And you spent, $3,000 on a preamp, a mixer, and then your desk looks like a goddamn server rack. You've got like a preamp over here. Basically what a preamp does is it gets your mic or instrument from mic level to line level before you even get into your mixer. So basically it's doing the preamping for it. It's like preamping before preamping. And then it runs through the digital to analog converter and the mixer and all that stuff. Again, if you're making professional audio, professional music, you're recording a new CD called, Jimmy Loves Sally or whatever, yeah, go for it. But if you're doing it for streaming, I mean, I don't know how else to tell you that it's not worth it. It really isn't. That's why I'm not using an XLR right now. I have a lot of experience with them. If I needed an XLR, I'd have one. Eventually, in-game, yeah. If I'm earning $6,000-$7,000 a month from streaming, yeah, I'll invest in an XLR setup. It's not worth it right now. It's not. Even if you're a big streamer, a lot of big streamers use USB microphones and you don't complain about the quality. Now, if you are having audio quality issues, message me and I will help you get set up because it's probably something in either your Microsoft or Mac settings inside of your OBS or something inside the software for your microphone, or you have a loose connection or something like that. Now, loose connection, if it's USB, there's only one connection it can be, but still, maybe you need a better, higher data transfer rate USB cable or something like that. So to answer the question, no, you don't need a mixer. Will the audio quality be better? Yeah, a little bit. And, you know, like Chris Heller says, that's Alpha Gaming, aka your stream doctor. I agree with almost everything he says, but, you know, he's saying you get more tweaks and adjustments and stuff with XLR microphones. Not necessarily. There's actually really good software suites. And yes, I did say hardware generally works better than software, but they do a pretty good job. And for streaming, it's literally all you need. Like I can set noise gate, compression, reverb on my voice. I can even go further than that and do vocal effects, you know.
Step away, step away.
Yeah, Car 98 on it. This guy Kevin's giving some pretty shitty advice for audio design.
Then I told AK-40 Kevin, damn boy, you one of the finest SOBs I ever seen. If you can come over my for 5.
So you can do shit like that. Pretty sweet. Now how I'm doing that, I have covered this in my Audio 101 video and everything like that. When you get a Stream Deck by Elgato, which by the way, again, one of the things I would recommend before you get a mixer, if you don't have an Elgato Stream Deck and you're talking about getting a mixer, just
Step back, step back. You're doing it wrong.
literally you should have everything else that you need before you think about getting a mixer. You should have a lighting solution. You see that softbox behind me, 36-inch softbox? Then I've got a Halo ring. I have another softbox over there. I have it all set up with voice integration. Here, I'll prove it. Alexa, turn off the Halo.
Okay.
Alexa, turn off the swag.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on the swag.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on the softbox.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on the Halo.
Okay.
See what I mean? Sorry, that was a weird flex, but it had to be done. If you guys are thinking about getting a mixer and you don't need one, there's so many other things. Alexa, turn off the softbox. So many other things that you could be getting to help out your stream. Alexa, turn off the softbox. Alexa, turn off the softbox.
Okay.
There we go. Again, that sound effect I just played was from the Elgato Stream Deck. But anyway, when you get an Elgato Stream Deck, it comes with a program in it called Voice Mod. Now, you're going to want to unlock Voice Mod Pro. That gets you all the voices, all the software suite fully unlocked at your fingertips or whatever. But basically, it gives you a ton of really good vocal effects. And then you're going to want a good USB microphone. I recommend anything from Blue. Don't get the Snowball. Get either a Yeti X, or the Yeti Nano. Any of the Yeti line. Don't get the Snowball or Snowball Ice or anything like that. And if you do want to take the XLR route, Blue also has a shitload of really good XLR mics. The Spark Blackout's probably my next XLR mic. The Ember is really good. That's only $100. That sounds really good. You got $2,000 to spend. The Blue Kiwi's pretty nice. You got $300. The Blue Bluebird's pretty good. $400. The Baby Bottle's pretty good. So as you know, or as you can probably tell, I'm a big fan of Blue. I know like every model they have and what its strengths and weaknesses are and everything. But anyway, when you have an Elgato Stream Deck, you have access to all these effects built into it, which is really awesome. Not to mention a Stream Deck is fantastic for your stream. You can do things like stinger transitions like that. I can control, you know, sound effects, stuff like that. It's kick-ass. I sound like a fucking Elgato salesman because every video I do, I end up coming back to why you should get a Stream Deck. They should sponsor me. They really should. Yeah, but it is literally probably in my opinion, the best thing for your stream. Eventually, a Go XLR would be the next really kick-ass, you know, in-game mod, but a Stream Deck has way more value for making your stream useful and good than a Go XLR does. For those of you that don't know, a Go XLR is a mixer. It's a mixer that is designed for streamers and podcasters and mostly video gamers because it has controls for like your Discord, your background music, stuff like that. It is really cool. I will be getting my hands on either the full size or the mini. I'm not going to pay for it though. I'm going to have it sent out to the channel. I'm pulling some strings right now, talking to some different companies to get myself one. You know, that's another thing I want to make a video for. I have a relatively small channel. Granted, I'm growing at about 300 to 400 subscribers a month now, which is really good. I've got traction. I'm taking off. I'm out of second gear. But you know, not only is my income higher than a lot of channels that are substantially bigger than mine because I know how to monetize my channel, but also my quality is pretty solid. And then also, you know, I'm able to set up sponsors for myself and stuff like that because I have a background in business, entrepreneurship. I run 3 small businesses from home. I also have a full-time job. Because I have that background, there's a lot of information that I can give to you guys. So, you know, if that's something you're interested in, definitely consider subscribing because I'm going to be doing a shitload of tutorials for YouTube, Twitch, and basically how to how to just not be a video gamer that records himself every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, Ninja's built himself into a brand. He's basically trying to stream less so he can do more, run his business and shit like that, because he's basically a brand. You know, same thing with Shroud. They just made some really slick moves and played YouTube gaming against Mixer and against Twitch to get a huge contract payout because they know what they're doing. Yeah, they're getting advised by their talent agency, Loaded, but still. These are things that, like, everyone should know. Sorry, I'm getting way off topic. Let me just align myself back into the video here. But anyway, hopefully this helped you guys out. You don't need a mixer. It should be one of the last things you get because the difference it's going to make on stream, not very good. You can have a preamp. Man, I got a $2,000 preamp. I got a $6,000 mixer hooked into a $2,000 Blue Kiwi. And somebody would be like, oh, I thought you were on a $100 USB mic. They're not going to fucking tell the difference, man. And like the adjustment, you know, that's one thing I don't agree with what Alpha Gaming was saying. You can literally adjust all the shit through software, and it sounds pretty fucking good. And yes, it does make a difference. If you're doing studio recordings, or you're doing a professional podcast, or you're doing something like that, abso-fucking-lutely you shouldn't be using a USB mic. But for streaming to Twitch or YouTube or anything like that, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm repeating myself now when I refuse to do that. So that is going to do it, guys. Hopefully this video is informative, beneficial, educational, added value to your day. I hope you guys have a great day. I know it's really, really difficult time for everyone with this goddamn fucking pandemic that is just really butt fucking everyone right now. Excuse my language.
We're gonna get through this, and we're gonna be sexy.
On the way out. Yeah, subscribe for more content like this. Do a lot of tutorials and walkthroughs around OBS, YouTube, Twitch, getting your PC optimized for streaming, stuff like that. Also, catch me at Twitch at AK40Kevin, as well as over there at Facebook Gaming. I'll have all my social links in the description below, and as well as links to all of the things that I mentioned, like XLR mics, the mixer that I recommend, the audio interface that I don't recommend. Get a mixer, don't get an audio interface. Some good XLR mics, some good USB mics, some of my lighting shit back here if you need some lighting. Like I have a hair light over there to give me that little swoop and all that other shit. All right, guys. Peace. Cue the crickets.